is January 23rd, 2026, and I made a very big achievement. I got my first dislike on a video. Uh, you know, Everyone has to start somewhere. I think it's hilarious. I probably got a dislike because I was very, not emotional, I was very animated about my hatred for a textbook that I had to read. Terrible textbook. Still think that, right? It's not a good textbook. Even my mom has to, like, I went to my mom for help today with a paragraph, and I basically was like, what is this paragraph saying? And even she was like, I'm not sure. So, whether that means that we're both illiterate, I don't know. But, yeah. So, I'm guessing that's why that person really hated my video yesterday. But, it's whatever. It just means that I now know to keep the video short and remain calm. So, because of college and how it's a very big part of my life at the moment, I am going to rank all of the college classes that I have taken, which is a grand total of 6, and then the 2 from this semester. So I will rank them from easiest to hardest. I will be starting with the easiest. I already know which one's the hardest, so I'm leaving that one for last. Um, the easiest one, I would say, is actually 2. There are 2 that were the easiest because I was 15 and those teachers were way too nice, and I remember like half the stuff that I learned. It was my early childhood education classes. Easiest classes I've ever taken. I do still remember like half the stuff that I was taught. It's helped a lot. It's very actually pretty fun. It was a pretty fun class in general. So that was pretty nice. My next class, I think, would have to be the history class that I took. The teacher was chill. He didn't really care as long as we did the work. And he taught pretty well. I have a notebook full of notes from that class that are pretty fun stuff in there. So that was enjoyable. So that one definitely was one of the easier ones. The next one I would probably say is the in-person class that I am taking this semester. It's pretty easy. I have to write a paper a week, and oh no, I have to read a book that I like. Oh no, what will I do? Right, so it's a pretty easy class right now. Maybe it'll get harder later. I'm not sure what the semester is gonna hold because even the syllabus doesn't tell us everything, which is stupid. It's great. It's so much fun. But it's pretty easy right now. It's a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. So I'm not too worried about that. The next class, I would say, would be my English 1, English Composition 101. It wasn't necessarily a hard class, but there were higher expectations for it. It was pretty easy. I learned pretty easily, pretty quickly on that one, so it was kind of fun. After that, I would say my English Comp 2 class. That one was more difficult. The English Comp 1 definitely made it easier than it would have been, because the English Comp 2 class, the teacher kept canceling quite frequently, quite a lot, very a lot, which definitely did not make that class easier. Just in general, it wasn't terrible. I had to do a presentation. I had done like 5 million presentations in the history class, so it wasn't too bad. It was awkward when the teacher kept asking me questions, and I'm like, I don't know. Could not tell you that information. So that could have been worse. Next, I would say, was the math class that I took. That was a very hard class. The content wasn't necessarily hard, it was just a lot of stuff you had to practice. But the hardest part was the amount of homework. It was a Monday, Wednesday class. In every single class, you got a packet of paper you had to fill out. You had online homework you had to fill out. And both of those combined, you had to get done. If they handed it to you on Monday, you had until the beginning of Wednesday's class to turn that stuff in. And then you couldn't do it. So that was tricky. That was pretty tricky. And I also still had a presentation in that class. And there was a group project in a math class. That sucked. Did not enjoy that. Currently, hardest class I'm taking is an online class. That's the hardest one I've ever taken, and it is the one that I'm currently taking. Now, it is a 200 class, all the previous classes I'm pretty sure were 100s. So it's not like it's a terribly difficult class. It's just harder than what I'm used to, and it's online, which makes it like 20 times worse. So, yeah, I've only taken 8 college classes. I think that should be all of them. But yeah, easiest definitely early childhood education classes. Those are pretty easy. Got a certificate from it too, which is awesome. But yeah, hardest definitely online class where you have 5 different videos to watch a week, and a textbook that does not make any sense. I don't know I know who the author is, but I'm not finding him on the internet. I think he would benefit from taking writing classes. That is definitely for sure. But I'm gonna try to keep my blood pressure a little bit lower today, so I'm gonna try to avoid thinking about it. I finally finished taking notes for the book, so I'm going to not think about anything related to that book until Monday. So we'll see how that works. I still have some schoolwork to do, so I'm going to be doing that, and I will see you guys tomorrow. So, bye bye.